That subtle vibration in your chest, the quickened pulse, the slight tremor in your hand as you reach for your phone. His name lights up the screen like a ghost from the past, stirring up memories you thought were buried. Or maybe you knew they were just resting beneath the surface, waiting for this exact moment. You hesitate. Your mind starts racing. 1,000 thoughts flood your consciousness all at once. Why now? What does he want? Should I even answer? And then the war begins. Your heart says one thing, your head says another, but underneath all the noise, buried beneath the mental tug of war, there's something quieter, something primal, a gut feeling. That instinctual whisper that speaks not in words, but in sensations. And it's telling you exactly what to do, but will you listen? Because that's the thing about instincts. They don't shout. They don't explain themselves. They don't give you bullet points or logical reasons. They feel. They pull you towards something or warn you away. And yet most of us have been conditioned to doubt them, to second guess them, to drown them out with rationalization, fear, and wishful thinking. When he contacts you, it's not just a message. It's a test. A test of whether you've learned the lessons you were meant to learn. A test of whether you'll betray yourself or honor the truth that your body and soul already know. Let me tell you a story. In the 16th century, there was a French philosopher named Michel de Montaigne who believed that our instincts, what he called natural judgment, were often more reliable than any intellectual reasoning. He once wrote, "My reason is not able to instruct me so clearly and so quickly as my instinct." Montaigne understood that there is a wisdom embedded in our biology, a knowing that precedes thought, and yet the modern world teaches us to override that knowing. We are taught to value analysis over feeling, logic over intuition. We seek advice, opinions, strategies, but what if the answer was already within you? Think about the last time you ignored your instincts. Maybe you had a feeling he wasn't being honest, but you convinced yourself you were overreacting. Or maybe you sensed that he wasn't emotionally available, but you held on, hoping things would change. And when it all fell apart, when the truth came crashing down, you realized that you knew all along. That quiet discomfort you felt in your chest, that tightness in your throat, it was your body telling you the truth before your mind could catch up. It's not that your instincts were wrong, it's that you didn't trust them. And now here he is again. He says he's changed. He says he misses you. He wants to meet up, to talk. And for a moment you feel that familiar pull, the flutter in your chest, the hopeful lift in your spirit. But underneath that, there's something else. A tightness, a hesitation, a whisper of discomfort. That's your instinct talking. There's a story about Cleopatra that most people don't know. Cleopatra was not just a queen. She was a master strategist, a political force, and a woman who knew the weight of her decisions. When Julius Caesar was assassinated, Mark Antony, one of Caesar's closest allies, came to Cleopatra seeking an alliance. Cleopatra, known for her charisma and allure, could have easily manipulated Antony for political gain. But she didn't just rely on charm. Cleopatra had an extraordinary ability to sense hidden motives beneath the surface. Before aligning herself with Antony, Cleopatra observed him closely. She paid attention not just to his words, but to the unspoken cues, the way his eyes darted when certain subjects were raised, the subtle tension in his jaw when he spoke of Caesar's death. Her instincts told her that Antony could be trusted, but only to a point. She navigated the relationship with both seduction and strategy, guided not by blind emotion, but by a deep intuitive understanding of human nature. You have that same capacity for discernment. But here's the problem. Most of us are too afraid of being wrong. We doubt ourselves because we've made mistakes before. We've trusted the wrong people. We've ignored red flags. We've mistaken infatuation for connection. And so, when the voice of instinct rises, we drown it out with analysis. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm being paranoid. But instinct isn't paranoia, it's intelligence. There's a reason your heart beats faster when someone walks into the room. There's a reason you feel that subtle tightness in your stomach when someone's words don't match their energy. Your body knows before your mind does. Your subconscious is processing patterns, inconsistencies, micro-expressions, things you aren't even consciously aware of. And so when he contacts you, the question is not whether you should respond. The question is, what does your body know that your mind hasn't yet acknowledged? Let's talk about Serena Williams. One of the greatest athletes of all time, Serena is known for her powerful game and strategic mind. But in interviews, Serena has often spoken about how she relies on her gut when she plays. "I don't think," she once said, I feel. She knows when to adjust her strategy, when to switch up her serves, not because of a mental calculation, but because of an internal sense, a bodily knowing. That's what instinct looks like. It's not guessing. It's not emotion, it's embodied wisdom. So when he sends that text, hey, I've been thinking about you, your instinct will speak. It might show up as a tightness in your chest or a heaviness in your stomach. It might feel like warmth or calm or like a knot twisting inside you. Your job is not to explain it, your job is to listen to it. But that's where most people fail, because instinct doesn't always give you the answer you want. Sometimes it tells you to walk away from someone you love. Sometimes it tells you that the person who seems perfect on paper isn't right for you. Sometimes it tells you that the hope you're clinging to is just an illusion. That's hard. We don't want to hear that we've outgrown someone. We don't want to accept that the person we've been waiting for isn't capable of loving us the way we deserve. And so we tell ourselves stories. We convince ourselves that our discomfort is just fear, that our doubt is just insecurity. But deep down, you know the truth. Think of Maya Angelou. She once said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That's not just about paying attention to someone's actions. It's about trusting the feeling those actions create inside you. If his words make you feel confused, uncertain, or diminished, trust that. If his presence feels grounding, expansive, and clear, trust that. Instinct is not infallible, but it's rarely wrong. What's wrong is our tendency to override it, to seek outside confirmation when the answer is already within us. So the next time he contacts you, take a breath. Don't analyze. Don't rationalize. Feel. Notice the first thing your body tells you. Is it tension or peace? Is it clarity or confusion? Does it feel like truth or like self-betrayal? Because that's your answer. And the choice you make in that moment won't just determine what happens with him. It will determine whether you honor the quiet wisdom within you or whether you abandon yourself once again. Trust your instincts. They've been trying to protect you all along. So he's reached out, you stare at the message, your thumb hovering over the screen. Your mind is already working overtime, trying to deconstruct it, analyze it, read between the lines. Why now? Why this moment? Is it loneliness, guilt, curiosity, a genuine desire to reconnect? Your mind will try to fill in the blanks. It will search for patterns, recall memories, replay conversations from months or years ago. But your instinct already knows the answer. That first hit, the tightening in your chest, the slight nausea in your stomach, the wave of warmth or the chill that rolls down your spine. That's the truth. But you hesitate because acting on instinct requires courage. It demands that you let go of the comforting illusion that you need more information, more evidence, more certainty. But instinct is certainty. Do you know why predators in the wild survive? It's not because they overanalyze the movements of their prey. It's because they sense it. The flick of an ear, the subtle rustling of leaves, the shift in the wind. Instinct, pure and primal. Humans have that same capacity, but we've forgotten how to use it because we've been conditioned to distrust it. Maybe you were taught to be polite, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to assume good intention. Maybe you grew up in an environment where conflict was dangerous, so you learned to silence your discomfort to keep the peace. Or maybe you've been so starved for love that you've convinced yourself that any form of attention, no matter how inconsistent, how conditional, is better than nothing. But that's not love. That's survival. And your instincts are not trying to keep you from love, they're trying to protect you from harm disguised as love. Let me tell you a story. In 1949, a wildfire broke out in Montana's Mann Gulch. 13 smoke jumpers, highly trained firefighters, parachuted into the blaze. The fire moved faster than expected, trapping them in a steep ravine. The leader, a man named Wag Dodge, made a split-second decision that went against every logical instinct. He lit a fire in the grass ahead of him. His team thought he had lost his mind, but Dodge's instinct told him that the only way to survive was to create an escape fire, a controlled burn that would consume the grass and starve the larger fire of fuel. Most of the men panicked. They ran, trying to outrun the blaze. 12 of them died. Dodge lay down in the circle of burnt grass, and when the fire swept over him, he survived. What saved him wasn't strategy, it was instinct. A split-second knowing that bypassed thought and came straight from some deeper, ancient part of him. And that's the kind of knowing you have inside you. But here's the thing. Instincts don't always align with what you want to believe. When he sends that message, your mind might want to believe he's changed. that he's finally realized what he lost, that this is fate, an opportunity to rebuild what was broken. But your instincts might be telling you something very different. And this is where most people make the mistake. They confuse hope with truth. Hope tells you maybe this time will be different. Instinct tells you you've been here before. Hope says he wouldn't reach out unless he really cared. Instinct says attention is not the same as love. Hope says it's been long enough, maybe he's grown. Instinct says time doesn't heal what someone refuses to confront. It's so easy to confuse the two because hope is seductive. It fills in the blanks. It paints over the red flags with softer colors. It allows you to avoid the discomfort of accepting that maybe, just maybe, this connection was never meant to last. Do you know how the Trojan War began? Paris, the Prince of Troy, was given a choice. The goddess Hera promised him power. Athena promised him wisdom. Aphrodite promised him love. The most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Sparta. Paris followed his desire instead of his instinct. He chose Aphrodite. He stole Helen from her husband. And that single choice, guided by infatuation rather than wisdom, plunged his entire kingdom into war. That's what happens when you follow desire over instinct. Desire is intoxicating. It clouds judgment. It tricks you into thinking that the ache in your chest means love, when sometimes it's just attachment or loneliness or the gravitational pull of an unresolved wound. Instinct is quieter. It doesn't seduce. It guides. It doesn't promise you the thrill of passion. It offers you the steadiness of truth. And that's why it's so easy to ignore, because instinct rarely gives you what you want, but it always gives you what you need. Think about it. How many times have you justified someone's inconsistent behavior because you didn't want to lose them? How many times have you ignored that gnawing discomfort because you didn't want to seem needy or paranoid? How many times have you stayed silent when your instincts were screaming because you didn't want to push him away? And where did that lead you? Because here's the truth. If he contacts you and your first feeling is confusion, that's a message. Clarity is not complicated. Love is not inconsistent. If someone's presence creates more questions than answers, your instincts are already telling you everything you need to know. But the hardest part isn't hearing the truth, it's accepting it. Because accepting the truth might mean walking away. It might mean closing a door you left cracked open for far too long. It might mean grieving not just the relationship, but the version of yourself that kept believing, kept hoping, kept trying. But that's what healing looks like. In 1962, Viktor Frankl published Man's Search for Meaning, a memoir about his time in Nazi concentration camps. Frankl wrote that even in the face of unimaginable suffering, human beings always have the freedom to choose their response. He believed that the highest form of human strength lies not in controlling the outside world, but in controlling our inner world. Instinct is part of that inner world. It's not weakness to walk away from a situation that feels wrong. It's not giving up to trust that if someone truly values you, they will show up clearly, consistently, and with integrity. And it's not fear to listen to the quiet knowing inside you that says this isn't right. It's strength. And maybe that's the real reason we resist our instincts, because honoring them requires us to give up control. It requires us to stop trying to manage how others feel about us, stop trying to engineer outcomes, stop trying to make someone choose us. It requires us to believe that we are enough even if they walk away. So when he contacts you, the real question isn't, should I respond? The real question is, do I trust myself enough to handle the truth, whatever it may be? Because that's what instinct demands of you. Not perfection, not certainty, but courage. Courage to listen when your body tells you this isn't it. Courage to walk away when the energy feels off. Courage to stop chasing answers when you already feel the truth in your bone. Because the truth is already there. It's always been there. The only question is, are you brave enough to trust it?